The trade delegation from Earth arrived on Yelvaris Prime under intense scrutiny. The Yelvarans were a tall, violet-skinned people with bioluminescent eyes and a society based on deep-rooted honor, lineage, and, curiously, brutal honesty. Any falsehood or sarcasm was considered a social crime. Humans who thrived on nuance were treading on eggshells. Ambassador Terran Hale knew this all too well, which is why he kept the Earth delegation small and meticulously trained. But me. I was the wild card. A xenolinguist, barely 25, brought along because I could interpret over 60 alien dialects and because, apparently, the Yelvaran tongue was especially poetic and required a human with soul to translate effectively. I wasn't sure what that meant until I met her. She was Princess Avalere, third daughter of the ruling family. Over 7 feet tall, dressed in flowing robes of woven crystal, with a face like carved amethyst and voice like music sung through wind chimes. She greeted me first when we arrived, her eyes glowing softly as she bowed. "You are the one with many tongues?" she asked curiously in her native language. I nodded, stunned. "Yes, I understand many." "Then understand this. Do not lie to me, human." I smiled nervously. "I won't." Over the next few days, I was at her side constantly, translating, negotiating, and explaining human customs. The longer I stayed near her, the more I noticed something strange. She lingered. She smiled more around me than she did with her own people. She asked about Earth music, about what it meant when a human held another's hand. And then, during a late-night walk through the starlit gardens of the Yelvaran Palace, she asked softly, "What do humans say when they admire beauty?" I turned to her, heart thudding. "We say, 'You are very beautiful.'" She blinked, caught off guard. For a second, her glow pulsed brighter. Could have stopped there. But I added, "And I think you are." That was the moment. She froze. And then, like some cosmic alarm had been tripped, her entire family burst into view. Her father, the regal and intimidating High Sovereign Velther. Her mother, the matriarch of houses. And her many siblings, all armored and wide-eyed. Her younger brother shouted. He said the words, "The sacred ones." The eldest sister pointed at me and declared. He acknowledged her soul glow. "It is binding." And the father, towering and thunderous, looked at Avalere and then at me before roaring, "Marry this human." Middle. I stood there, stunned, mouth open. Avalere's glow had shifted from purple to a glowing deep rose, a clear Yelvaran sign of emotional overload. Her voice was tiny. "Father," he didn't know the meaning. "Too late," said her mother, stepping forward. He spoke the ancient truth before witnesses. The binding acknowledgement was declared in sincerity. He must now undergo the ritual of joining. What ritual?" I blurted out. The High Sovereign narrowed his glowing eyes. "Do you deny her beauty?" I swallowed. No, she's stunning." "Then you meant it," the brother smirked. "Which means, you belong to her." "That's not how it works on Earth." I tried to reason. Avalere stepped between us, lifting her hands. "Wait, let me explain." The next few hours were chaos. Back in the palace, Avalere explained the old Yelvaran tradition. A declaration of beauty, made sincerely and without provocation, was considered a soul claim. It came from a time when their species had no concept of courtship, only instinctual recognition of compatibility based on emotional resonance. To say, "You are very beautiful," with full sincerity, and especially in the sacred language, was tantamount to a marriage proposal. "I didn't mean to propose," I told her. "I just meant what I said. You're beautiful." "I know," she said softly. And I believe you. That's why it mattered. I should have left it there. Gone back to my quarters. But something held me in that moment. Would it be so bad? I asked quietly. Avalir's head tilted. What do you mean? To marry a human. Her glow intensified again. We barely know one another. Then let's start fixing that, I said. Before your family starts building a wedding altar. The next week was a whirlwind. While Ambassador Hale worked himself into a fury trying to undo what he called a cultural hostage situation, I was spending time with Avalir, learning her people's history, the meaning behind their colors and glows, and sharing Earth traditions with her in return. She played Earth music on ancient Yelveran instruments, her long fingers coaxing strange, gorgeous harmonies. I taught her how to dance. She found it clumsy and hilarious. She took me flying in a twin-winged glider above the crystalline forests. I showed her pictures of Earth sunsets. And then, on the 7th night, she took me into the Hall of Ancestry. It was sacred ground. The glimmering statues of past Yelveran couples stood in pairs, joined by luminous threads of captured starlight. If you truly do not wish to bind, she said solemnly, you may break the declaration here. But only here. And if I don't break it, then we become as one. And our names will be joined among the stars. I looked at her then, really looked. She wasn't just beautiful. She was fierce, curious, honest to a fault. And through all the confusion, she had treated me with respect, kindness, and hope. I'm not breaking anything, I said. She didn't glow this time. She glowed and wept. Ending. The wedding was held under Yelveran moons, each one casting a different hue on the sky. I wore ceremonial robes of starlace, while Avalir was adorned in a living veil that shimmered with her heart's pulse. Thousands of Yelverans attended. The human delegation remained confused but polite. Ambassador Hale had long since given up trying to prevent what he called a diplomatic fairy tale gone wild. When the High Sovereign gave me a ceremonial spear, a symbol of defense, not violence, I accepted it with both hands. You honor us, he said, and may your children carry both bloodlines with pride. I nearly choked. Children? Eventually, Avalir whispered, amused. Not immediately. Calm yourself. After the ceremony under the stars we sat together, watching the sky shimmer with constellations both human and Yelveran. You're not what I expected from a human, she said. And you're not what I expected from a princess. She laughed. My family still thinks you used some human trickery. I didn't. I know. She turned toward me, eyes glowing soft rose. But I'm glad you did. So, now that we're married, I teased. Do I get to call you my beautiful wife without causing a political scandal? You'd better, she smirked. Or my brothers will think you've dishonored me. I chuckled, pulling her close. Then let me make it official. You are very beautiful. From somewhere deep in the palace, I could hear her brother shout. Again.